When Eddie Van Halen hit the stage, the guitar was never the same again. With a smile as electric as his solos and fingers that moved faster than thought itself, Eddie redefined what rock music could sound like. His two-handed tapping, lightning-fast runs, and explosive creativity turned songs like Eruption, Panama, and Hot for Teacher into jaw-dropping showcases of pure innovation. Eddie wasn't just a virtuoso, he was an inventor, a tone scientist who built guitars from scratch and sculpted the legendary Brown sound that players still chase today. Every note he played was a mix of joy, danger, and absolute mastery, the sound of someone playing like it's the last night on Earth. Hello, and welcome to the Church of Rock and Roll, where we celebrate the lives of great musicians and entertainers who have left us. Today, we are taking a quick dive into the life of Eddie Van Halen. From backyard parties in Pasadena to the biggest stages in the world, Eddie Van Halen proved that genius and joy could live in every note. Van Halen never learned to read music. Instead, he watched recitals of Bach and Mozart repertoire and improvised. Between 1964 and 1967, he won first place in the annual piano competition at Long Beach City College. Their parents wanted their sons to be classical pianists. Eddie and his brother Alex gravitated towards rock music and were greatly influenced by 1960s British invasion bands such as the Beatles and the Dave Clark Five. Initially, Alex began playing guitar and Eddie bought a drum kit. However, after he heard Alex's performance of the Surfari's drum solo on the song Wipe Out, Eddie gave Alex the drums and began learning guitar. According to him, as a teen he often practiced while walking around at home with his guitar strapped on, or sitting in his room for hours with the door locked. Speaking at the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History in 2015, Van Halen discussed his life and the American dream. "We came here with approximately $50 and a piano, and we didn't speak English. Now look where we are. If that's not the American dream, what is?"
I wanted to ask you about, just do a little of the very early history of you guys, because do you remember anything about life overseas? You were like 11 when you came to this country, right? I mean, do you remember it all?
I was like 8.
You've been younger, so is that kind of a
I
blur to
remember
you?
a lot, actually.
What was life like over there? You a normal kind of kid, just growing up, or were you into music then?
Right, yeah. My dad and my mom and dad used to lock Alex and I in a closet if we were bad.
Gee, really?
So I spent a lot of time in a closet. No.
Was it like a whole new...
Not in that way, no.
Was it a whole new world when you came over here? I mean, it just pop your eyes out and say, whoa, what's this? Because you moved to like Pasadena or something?
Yeah, I was pretty young. I don't really remember that much. I do remember, I mean, the reason we came to this country is because my mom's side of the family all moved here, and they said, "Oh, man, you can pick the oranges from the trees, and it's a land of opportunity," you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And we said, "Okay, what the hell, let's sell everything and leave." And it was actually really rough on my dad, you know, because he was a professional musician in Holland. And we came here, and he had to walk 6 miles in the morning to wash dishes at Arcadia Methodist Hospital, you know. And, you know, I don't mean to get down on unions, but music unions really don't take care of musicians like they should.
Did you speak English at the time when you came over here?
I knew a couple of words. Yes, no, motorcycle, and accident. I swear to God.
You were totally equipped then for life.
No, my mom bought the records and the pictures and stuff, and I didn't get past page 2. You know, the first one was motorcycle, accident, yes, no, you know. That's about as far as I got.
When did it become apparent that you and Alex were pretty talented kids? I mean, was it obviously you were musical at a certain point?
We began playing piano when we lived in Holland, and you know, I guess because we played a little better piano than the rest of the kids on the block.
You play piano on this record. You're still pretty good, aren't you? I mean, might there be a solo keyboard album in your future?
I don't know. It's like people always ask me about solo record. You know, it's like I write the majority of Van Halen music, and I couldn't imagine doing a solo record that would be any different than a Van Halen record because I write the music. You know. I have no problem expressing myself within the band.
Yeah.
Most people want to do a solo record because they can't do what they really want to do.
Eddie and his brother Alex formed the band Mammoth in 1972. 2 years later, David Lee Roth joined Mammoth as lead singer, along with Michael Anthony on bass, and Mammoth officially changed its name to Van Halen. They became a staple of the Los Angeles music scene, playing at well-known clubs such as the Whiskey A Go-Go. At a 1976 concert at the Starwood in California, the band opened for UFO. Kiss bassist Gene Simmons saw the performance and said, "I was waiting backstage by the third song." He asked the band about their plans, and they said, "There is a yogurt manufacturer that is going to invest in us." Simmons begged them not to go that route and invited them to record some demos at Electric Lady Studios in Greenwich Village, New York City. Simmons signed them to his company, and the band recorded early demos of their songs, including Running with the Devil. Excited about the band, Simmons approached Kiss manager Bill Aucoin and Kiss frontman Paul Stanley about them, but they dismissed his desire to sign them to Aucoin's management fold. Stanley later said he rejected Van Halen to protect Kiss, and that they made an effort to make Simmons drop the band to keep Gene in check. The discouraging words caused Simmons to rip up the contract, and he let them go, after feeling he may have held the band back. The next year, Warner Records offered Van Halen a recording contract. The band's 1978 debut album reached number 19 on the Billboard pop music charts and was one of rock's most commercially successful debuts, highly regarded as both a heavy metal and hard rock album. By the early 80s, Van Halen was one of the most successful rock acts of the time. Their album 1984 went 5 times platinum a year after its release. Its lead single, Jump, became the band's first and only number 1 pop hit and brought them a Grammy nomination. The band won the 1992 Grammy Award for Best Hard Rock Performance with vocals for the album Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. Van Halen was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2007. Eddie Van Halen is most associated with his Frankenstrat, a custom guitar he built from parts. Originally pictured on his band's debut album, the maple neck cost $80, while the ash body was bought for $50 as the wood had a knot in it. The tremolo bridge was originally taken from a 1958 Fender Stratocaster and was later replaced with a Floyd Rose tremolo. His Frankenstrat was originally painted white with black stripes, but was recoated with Schwinn red bicycle paint in 1979.
You know, the whole first record, yeah.
Stock Fender tremolo.
With this guitar, with no Floyd Rose, you know,
Yeah.
blocking nut. And people were just dripping around. How the fuck to keep that thing in tune? But it's all process of elimination and making sure everything's lined up. And
Straight string pull.
Yeah. And I used to even take the guitar string through the block in the back, and with every turn, I would hold the string and turn it with it.
So that the string didn't
So
twist.
exactly. And straight, smooth. And I used to put it through the tuning peg and line it up, not down.
So that it was straight into the
Oh,
peg instead of
And so,
break angle.
if you look at old stuff, I always have to keep my hand there, because if you hit the string too hard, it would pop out of the nut. And then I put 3-in-1 oil in the brass nut, and the grooves were bigger than they were supposed to be, but that's the only way to slip and slide. Kind of like a Mazzola party.
You tricked it out.
Yeah. But I tricked it out for myself.
Right, for performance. But you
Yeah.
figured a way
Yeah.
to tweak and trick it out
You know me well enough that I trick everything out.
to your spec, to what works for you.
Whatever works for me.
Van Halen's 1978 instrumental solo, Eruption, which was voted number 2 in Guitar World's Readers' Poll of 100 Greatest Guitar Solos, showcased the tapping technique, which uses both left and right hands on the guitar neck. Although he popularized tapping, he did not invent the technique. According to Music Radar, Steve Hackett, lead guitarist with Genesis in the 1970s, is widely credited with inventing two-handed tapping and was an influence on Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen engaged in several projects outside of his band, including solo work and partnerships with his brother on film soundtracks such as The Wildlife in 1984, Twister in 1996, and Sacred Sin in 2006, as well as musical collaborations with Kiss bassist Gene Simmons, singer-songwriter Nicolette Larson, Queen guitarist Brian May, Sammy Hagar, Black Sabbath, Roger Waters, Toto guitarist Steve Lukather, and LL Cool J. In 1982, Eddie contributed the guitar solo to Beat It for Michael Jackson's album Thriller, which became the biggest selling album of all time. Behind the fame, Eddie battled personal demons, addiction, cancer, and creative conflicts, but never stopped playing. Even during treatments, he'd bring a guitar to the hospital, tinkering with ideas. When Eddie passed away in October 2020, fans around the world felt the silence. He wasn't just a guitarist, he was an inventor, a rebel, and a dreamer who taught the world that the guitar could still surprise us. What do you think? Do you think Eddie was the greatest rock guitarist ever? Who do you think could rival him? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.